Picture this. You're in a minor fender bender. A bump, a scrape, nothing too serious. Your airbag deploys just like it's supposed to. But instead of a soft cushion, a shower of metal shrapnel explodes towards you. This isn't a scene from a horror movie. For millions of car owners, it was a terrifying reality. This is the story of Takata, a company whose name became synonymous with the largest and most complex auto recall in history. For decades, Takata was a giant in the automotive safety world, a trusted name. Founded in Japan in the 1930s, they started with textiles and parachutes before pioneering some of the earliest seatbelts and, eventually, airbags. By the 2000s, they were one of the biggest airbag suppliers on the planet, with their products installed in cars from nearly every major manufacturer. Honda, Toyota, Ford, BMW, you name it, they were at the top of their game, a symbol of Japanese engineering and quality. So what went so disastrously wrong? The heart of the problem was a chemical compound called ammonium nitrate. This is the same stuff used in industrial explosives and, famously, in the Oklahoma City bombing. Takata chose it as the propellant to inflate their airbags because it was cheap and effective. When a crash happens, a sensor triggers a small explosion of this propellant, rapidly inflating the airbag cushion. It's a process that happens in less than the blink of an eye. For years, it worked. But ammonium nitrate has a critical weakness. It's unstable. Over time, exposure to heat and humidity can cause it to break down. When it degrades, it becomes much more volatile. Instead of a controlled inflation, it can detonate with explosive force, shattering its metal housing, the inflator, and turning it into a deadly grenade. The very device designed to save your life becomes a weapon. The first signs of trouble emerged in the early 2000s. Honda, Takata's biggest customer, started seeing strange airbag ruptures. In 2004, an inflator in a Honda Accord exploded in Alabama, injuring the driver. But these were isolated incidents, initially dismissed as anomalies. Takata and the automakers quietly settled cases and initiated small regional recalls in hot, humid areas like Florida and Puerto Rico, believing the problem was contained. They were wrong. By 2008, the incidents were becoming more frequent and more violent. The first recorded fatality occurred in 2009. Ashley Parham, a teenager in Oklahoma, was in a minor accident in her 2001 Honda Accord. The airbag deployed, but it sent a piece of metal into her neck, and she tragically bled to death. Her family initially thought it was a random freak accident. It was only later that investigators connected her death to a faulty Takata inflator. As the years went on, the body count grew. More deaths, more horrific injuries, people blinded, their faces and necks lacerated by shrapnel. The pattern became undeniable. The older the airbag and the more it had been exposed to heat and humidity, the greater the risk. This created a ticking time bomb in millions of vehicles, concentrated in warmer climates but present all over the world. So why didn't Takata just switch to a safer chemical? The answer, as it often is, comes down to money and hubris. Internal documents later revealed that Takata engineers had raised concerns about ammonium nitrate stability as early as the late 1990s. They knew it was risky, but it was incredibly cheap, giving them a huge competitive advantage. They believed they could manage the risks with chemical stabilizers and clever engineering. They gambled, and the public paid the price. Investigations by journalists and government agencies uncovered a shocking corporate cover-up. It turned out Takata had been aware of failed tests and dangerous results for years. Instead of reporting the issues, they allegedly manipulated test data, destroyed evidence, and presented a false picture of safety to their automaker clients and to regulators. They actively concealed the danger, all while continuing to produce and sell millions of these defective inflators. By 2014, the crisis exploded into public view. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, or NHTSA, started demanding answers and action. The recalls, which had been small and regional, ballooned into a national, then global catastrophe. The numbers were staggering: tens of millions of vehicles in the US alone, over 100 million worldwide. It became the largest automotive recall in history. The logistics were a nightmare. How do you find and notify every owner of an affected car, some of which were over a decade old? And even if you could, there weren't enough replacement parts. The industry simply couldn't manufacture safe, new inflators fast enough to replace all the dangerous ones. This created a terrifying triage situation. Regulators and automakers had to prioritize the highest risk vehicles, the oldest cars in the hottest states. But for years, millions of people were forced to drive cars they knew could be deadly, waiting for a replacement part that wasn't available. The public outcry was immense. Car owners were scared and angry. Lawsuits piled up. Congressional hearings were held, where Takata executives were grilled and forced to apologize. But apologies couldn't undo the damage. The company was hit with billions of dollars in fines and settlement costs. Its reputation was destroyed. For the automakers, it was a massive blow as well. They had trusted their supplier, and that trust was betrayed. They were now on the hook for the recall costs and the damage to their own brands. Honda, which had the closest relationship with Takata, was hit the hardest, but virtually no major car company was spared. In 2017, the inevitable happened. Weighed down by overwhelming debt and legal liabilities, Takata Corporation filed for bankruptcy. The once mighty pillar of the automotive industry crumbled. Its remaining assets were sold off to a competitor, Key Safety Systems, which now operates as Joyson Safety Systems. The Takata name, once a mark of quality, was erased. The legacy of the Takata scandal is long and painful. It has led to at least 27 deaths worldwide and over 400 documented injuries, though the true numbers are likely higher. It exposed a culture of corporate deception and a regulatory system that was too slow to react. It forced the entire auto industry to reevaluate its supply chains and its relationship with parts manufacturers. But the story isn't over. Even today, years after the bankruptcy, millions of cars with these dangerous airbags are still on the road. Many owners never received or ignored the recall notices. Others have older cars that are harder to track down. Getting every last one of these ticking time bombs off the road remains a huge public safety challenge. So what can you do? The most important thing is to check if your vehicle is under recall. You can do this for free on the NHTSA website by simply entering your car's vehicle identification, number, or VIN. If your car has an open recall, please get it fixed. The repair is completely free at any authorized dealership. Don't wait. It could save your life or the life of someone you love. The Takata saga is a sobering reminder that safety systems can fail in the most catastrophic ways. It's a story of corporate greed, failed oversight, and the devastating human cost when safety takes a backseat to profit. It changed the auto industry forever, and its echoes will be felt for many years to come. Thanks for watching, and remember to check your VIN. Stay safe out there. This is how systems really fail.